The night was cold, and the ruined streets were silent except for the sound of the wind. Broken walls of old buildings stood like skeletons in the darkness, and smoke from distant fires rose into the sky. On one corner, near a fallen sign, a small alien girl sat with her little sister. Her arms wrapped around the child, trying to keep her warm. The little sister's stomach growled. She whispered, "I'm hungry." Her voice was weak, almost lost in the cold air. The elder girl bit her lip. She had nothing left to give. No food, no blanket, only an old toy made of wood and metal. It was small, broken at the edges, but it was the last memory of their mother. She held it close to her chest. She looked up at the sky where stars shone faintly behind the smoke. If only someone could help, she thought. But she knew help never came in this city. Humans walked these streets sometimes, but they were strangers, dangerous or too busy to care. Many aliens had warned her, "Don't trust humans. They only think of themselves." Still, her sister shivered again. The elder girl rubbed the child's thin arms. "Just a little longer," she whispered. Her own stomach was empty, but she stayed quiet. She wanted to be strong. Suddenly, footsteps echoed through the ruined street. The alien girl froze. The sound was steady, heavy, not like the quick steps of children. Someone was coming closer. She pulled her sister into the shadows and held her breath. A tall figure appeared from behind a broken wall. It was a human. His coat was torn, but he walked with a steady pace. His eyes searched the ground as if he was looking for something. In his hands he carried a small bag. The alien girl's heart raced. What if he saw them? What if he was dangerous? The little sister moved, making a small whimper. The sound was soft, but enough. The human stopped. His head turned toward the shadows where they hid. The girl's heart pounded. Should she run? But her sister was too weak. They had no strength. She squeezed the child's hand tightly. The human stepped closer. The light from a broken lamp revealed his face. He did not look cruel. His eyes were tired, but there was something warm in them. He crouched down a few steps away and placed his bag on the ground. Slowly, he opened it. The smell of warm food filled the air. Bread, meat, and a little soup. The alien girl's stomach twisted with hunger. She tried to look away, but her sister's eyes were wide, fixed on the food. The human spoke softly. "Are you hungry?" His voice was calm, not harsh. The elder girl did not answer. She remembered the warnings. But her little sister whispered, "Yes." Before she could stop her, the human nodded. He took out a piece of bread and placed it on the ground between them. Then he stepped back. "Take it." "It's safe," the elder girl stared. Was this a trick? She waited, but the human only stood quietly watching. Finally, her sister crawled forward, grabbed the bread, and took a bite. Tears filled her eyes as she chewed quickly. The elder girl's throat tightened. She reached out, broke the bread in half, and ate a small piece herself. Warmth spread through her chest. She had not tasted real food in days. The human placed more food on the ground, a small bowl of soup steaming in the cold night. The elder girl shook her head. Why are you helping us?" she asked in a trembling voice. The human looked at her seriously. "Because no one should starve in the night. Not you. Not your sister." For a moment the girl could not speak. She had expected anger or greed, but not kindness. She looked at the toy in her hands, the only thing she had. Her eyes filled with tears. She leaned close to her sister and whispered, "If he gives us more, I will sell my toy. I will repay him." The human could not hear her words, but he saw the way she held the toy. He saw the way her small hands trembled. Something in his heart moved. He had seen many aliens before, but never like this. Two children alone with nothing but each other. The night around them grew colder, but for the first time the sisters felt warmth. The food gave them strength, but the stranger's kindness gave them something more. Hope. Still in the distance, shadows moved. Unknown eyes watched from behind broken buildings. The city was never safe, and this small act of kindness would not go unseen. The soup's steam rose into the cold night, and the alien girl held the bowl with trembling hands. She had almost forgotten what warmth on her skin felt like. Her little sister leaned close, sniffing the scent, her wide eyes shining. "Drink slowly," the girl whispered, pushing the bowl toward the child. The little sister obeyed, sipping carefully, her thin fingers clutching the rim as if afraid the soup would vanish. A faint smile spread across her tired face. It was the first smile in many days. The human sat on a piece of broken stone a short distance away. He did not try to come closer. He only watched with calm eyes as if he understood their fear. His hands rested on his knees open, showing he meant no harm. "You should eat too," he said quietly. The elder girl hesitated, then dipped the spoon into the soup. The taste was soft and salty, and it warmed her throat. She closed her eyes, holding back tears. For a moment she felt safe, though she knew safety was only an illusion in these ruined streets. Her sister, still chewing the bread, looked at the human. "Why are you helping us?" she asked in her small voice. The human leaned forward, his breath fogging in the cold air. "Because I saw two children sitting alone in the dark, and I could not walk past them." The girl's chest tightened. She wanted to believe him, but the words of her people still echoed in her head. Never trust a human. They only care about themselves. Yet here was one giving food freely, asking for nothing. She looked at the toy in her lap. Its once bright colors were faded, the edges chipped, but it was still her treasure. She whispered to herself, "I will repay him, somehow." The human tilted his head. "What's that you're holding?" The girl hugged the toy closer, her eyes sharp. "It's mine." He raised his hand slightly, showing peace. "I didn't mean to take it. I was only curious." For a moment silence hung between them. Then the little sister broke it with a giggle. Soup dripped from her chin and she tried to lick it off. The elder girl smiled faintly despite her fear. The human's lips curved into a small smile as well. He reached into his bag and placed another piece of bread on the ground. "Eat as much as you can tonight. Tomorrow may not be so kind." The girl blinked. His words sounded like both kindness and warning. She remembered the moving shadows she had seen earlier. They were not alone. Danger was close. Her stomach urged her to eat quickly, but her mind stayed sharp. She whispered to her sister, "Don't let your guard down." The human noticed her wary glance. He looked around, his eyes narrowing. "You're right to be careful," he said. "This place isn't safe. But for now you have food. That matters." The girl wondered why he cared. Maybe he had lost someone too. Maybe he had once been hungry like them. She wanted to ask, but her voice failed. Instead, she held up the toy and whispered almost too softly for him to hear, "I'll sell this tomorrow. I will repay you." The human's eyes softened. He shook his head. "You don't owe me anything." But she clenched her fist. "No, I must. My people taught me, if someone gives you warmth, you must return it." The human studied her for a long moment. He could see she was not speaking from pride, but from honor. It touched something deep inside him. The night dragged on, and the three of them stayed together in silence. The girls ate until their bellies were no longer empty, and then they leaned against each other, heavy with sleep. The human stood, pulling his coat tighter around his body. He looked at the ruined streets, then back at the children. Something told him he should not leave them here. But he also knew he could not carry two strangers into his world without trouble. Still, he placed the last of his food by their side and whispered, "Sleep, I'll watch for a while." The girl opened her eyes slightly. Her sister was already asleep, curled against her chest. She saw the human sitting near the shadows, his face turned outward, scanning the night like a guard. For the first time in many nights, she allowed her own eyes to close. She clutched the toy tightly, whispering in her heart, "Tomorrow I will repay him. Somehow." But beyond the broken walls, figures watched with hungry eyes. They had seen the human give food. They had seen the alien children eat, and to them, weakness was an invitation. The warm meal had filled their stomachs, but it had also marked them. By morning, the danger would come. Morning light slipped through the cracks of ruined walls, painting the street in pale gold. The alien girl opened her eyes slowly, still clutching the old toy in her arms. Her little sister was curled beside her, breathing softly. For a moment, the warmth of last night's meal lingered, but the hunger of many days could not be erased in one night. She looked around. The human was still there, sitting against a wall with his coat wrapped tightly around him. His eyes were open, tired but sharp, as if he had not slept. He noticed her waking and gave a small nod. "You made it through the night," he said. His voice was calm, almost gentle. The girl's throat tightened. She wanted to thank him, but the words felt heavy. Instead, she looked down at the toy in her lap. She knew what she had to do. When her sister stirred awake, the girl whispered, "Stay close today. I need to find someone who will buy this." She held up the toy. The little sister's eyes widened. "No, not your toy." Tears pressed at the girl's eyes, but she stayed strong. "It's the only way. We must repay him. We cannot live with a debt." The human overheard and shook his head firmly. You don't owe me anything. Keep your toy. It's yours, but the girl stood. Her small frame trembled, but her eyes were hard with determination. If I don't repay you, then kindness will lose its meaning. My mother taught me that. The human sighed, rubbing his forehead. He could see he could not change her mind. Together they walked through the broken streets. The city was waking, but it was not alive with joy, only with noise. Merchants shouted in rough voices, trying to sell scraps of metal, dirty cloth, or spoiled food. Smoke rose from oil drums where people warmed their hands. Everyone's eyes were sharp, watching for weakness, waiting for a chance. The alien girl held her sister's hand tightly and kept the toy close to her chest. She stopped at a stall run by a short alien with scales along his face. The merchant eyed her with suspicion. What do you want, child? He asked. The girl placed the toy on the counter. I want to sell this, the merchant sneered. He picked up the toy, turning it in his rough hands. Old, broken, worthless. Her little sister tugged at her arm. Don't give it to him. But the girl lifted her chin. It is not worthless. It holds memory. It is strong. It still works. She pressed the small button on its side, and faint sparks flickered inside the toy's chest. A broken, tinny melody played for a second before fading. The merchant's eyes narrowed with interest, though he tried to hide it. I'll give you 1 coin. No more. The girl's face fell. 1 coin could not even buy a single meal. But still she whispered, please. It is worth more. The human stepped forward. His voice was low, firm. Don't cheat her. You know it's worth more than that. The merchant snarled. Stay out of this, human. You don't belong here. A tense silence fell. The girl clutched her sister and pulled the toy back from the counter. She could feel eyes on her. Others had seen the toy's faint glow. Whispers spread among the crowd. It's an old relic. Might be valuable. Where did those children get it? Take it from them. The human noticed the stares and muttered, We need to leave. Now. The girl's hands trembled as she hugged the toy. Her heart ached. She had tried to repay him, but instead she had drawn danger. She glanced at the human with desperate eyes. What should I do? He looked at her firmly. Keep it. Some things are not meant to be sold, especially if it's the last piece of your family. Her little sister buried her face against her. Don't sell it, please. It's all we have left of Mama. The elder girl's lips trembled. She wanted to argue, to prove her honor, but her sister's voice cut through her resolve. Slowly, she pulled the toy back into her arms. The human placed a hand on her shoulder, steady but gentle. Sometimes repayment isn't about coins or trade. Sometimes it's about remembering kindness and carrying it forward. Before she could answer, a shout echoed through the street. There they are! The children with the glowing relic! A group of rough figures began pushing through the crowd, their eyes locked on the sisters. Fear shot through the elder girl's chest. The human's jaw tightened. He moved quickly, pulling the girls behind him. Stay close to me, he ordered. The alien girl's heart pounded. She had tried to honor kindness, but now danger was coming faster than ever. And somewhere deep inside she wondered if selling the toy had not been her choice at all. Perhaps fate had chosen for her, and the toy's true worth was only beginning to reveal itself. The crowd parted as the rough figures stepped forward. Their boots struck the ground with heavy rhythm and their eyes glowed with hunger. They were not simple merchants or poor wanderers. They were hunters, men who thrived in the ruins by taking from the weak. The alien girl clutched her sister tightly, her fingers digging into the small hand she held. The toy pressed against her chest, glowing faintly as if it too sensed danger. The human stood tall, his body forming a shield between the children and the advancing men. His coat flapped in the cold wind, and though he had no weapon in hand, there was strength in his stance. One of the hunters sneered. That relic belongs to us now. Hand it over, and maybe we'll let you walk away. The girl's heart raced. She had promised to repay the human, but now she was the reason he was in danger. Her sister whimpered, and she whispered, Don't be afraid. Stay behind me. The human's voice cut through the street. This toy doesn't belong to you. Leave the children alone, laughter echoed. The hunters drew closer, their shadows stretching long under the broken lamps. A human defending alien runs? How strange, one of them mocked. Maybe we should take all three. The girl's breath caught. She had seen many humans walk past starving aliens before. No one cared. Yet this one was willing to fight for them. She did not understand why. The hunters spread out, circling. Their leader, A tall figure with scars across his face reached for a knife at his belt. "Last chance," he growled. "Hand over the relic." The human's jaw tightened. He bent slightly, whispering to the girl without turning his head. "When I move, take your sister and run. Don't look back." Her eyes widened. "But do it," he said firmly. Before she could protest, the first hunter lunged. The human moved fast, quicker than she thought possible. He sidestepped and struck the man's arm, sending the knife clattering to the ground. A sharp kick followed, and the hunter collapsed against the wall with a grunt. The crowd gasped. Many stepped back, watching with wide eyes. Another hunter charged, but the human grabbed a broken pipe from the street and swung it hard. The blow rang out like thunder, knocking the attacker to the dirt. The alien girl froze, stunned. She had always been told humans were selfish, weak, and greedy. But the man before her fought with strength and purpose, not for himself, but for them. Her sister tugged at her arm. "We must run." But the girl couldn't move. Her heart battled with fear and awe. She saw the human fighting alone, his coat torn, his face grim, yet he stood unbroken. The scarred leader stepped forward now, his eyes burning with fury. He pulled a long blade from his side and pointed it at the human. "You think you can protect them? You'll regret this." The human raised the pipe like a staff. His breathing was heavy, but his eyes never wavered. "If you want them, you'll have to go through me." The crowd murmured, whispers rising like smoke. Some looked afraid, others curious. No one dared interfere. The alien girl finally spoke, her voice trembling but sharp. "Stop, this toy is mine, it is not worth blood." She held the toy high, its faint glow flickering like a tiny star. The scarred leader's eyes widened with greed. Yes, give it to me. That relic is worth more than 100 meals." The girl's hand shook. Part of her wanted to throw it away to end the danger. But another part screamed inside. This toy was her last memory of family, her last promise to herself. If she gave it away now, she would lose more than just an object. She would lose who she was. The human glanced back at her. "Don't!" His voice was steady, even as the blade inched closer to him. "Some things cannot be traded. Some things must be protected," her heart pounded. For the first time, she believed his words. The scarred leader growled and stepped forward, blade raised. Before he could strike, a sharp sound echoed in the distance like a horn or a call. The hunters froze. Their eyes darted around nervously. The crowd murmured louder. From the edge of the ruined street, new shadows appeared. But these were not thieves or hunters. They moved with discipline, tall and strong, their armor reflecting the morning light. "Alien warriors," the girl gasped. She recognized the markings on their armor. They were from her mother's clan, warriors thought lost long ago. The hunters cursed under their breath. Fear spread across their faces. "Warriors, here?" The human did not lower his stance, but his eyes flickered with surprise. He had not expected reinforcements. The girl clutched her sister tighter, her chest heaving. The toy glowed brighter now, as if answering the call of the warriors. The scarred leader snarled, retreating a step. "This isn't over," he hissed, before signaling his men to disappear into the alleys. The hunters melted into the shadows as quickly as they had appeared. The street fell silent. All eyes turned to the human, the alien girl, and the faintly glowing toy. The warriors stepped closer, their presence commanding. One of them looked directly at the girl. "Child," he said in a deep voice, "you carry what belongs to your people. And the human who defends you must not be ignored." The girl's lips parted. She had wanted to repay kindness with a toy, but now she saw the toy was never just hers. It was something much greater, and because of it, their lives were about to change forever. The ruined street grew silent after the hunters vanished, but silence did not mean safety. The air was heavy, as if the city itself was holding its breath. The alien girl held her sister close, her small arms trembling. The faintly glowing toy was still pressed against her chest, its soft light pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. The human stood tall, pipe still in his hand. His eyes never left the armored warriors who had stepped out of the shadows. They moved with purpose, their steps steady, their eyes sharp. Their armor was scarred from battles, but it gleamed with pride. One of the warriors, broad and towering, looked at the girl. "Child," he said in a deep, commanding voice, "you carry the relic of your mother's line. How did it come into your hands?" The girl's lips parted, but her voice shook. It was all she left us. Before she was gone, the warriors exchanged glances. Their expressions were hard, but not cruel. The tallest one turned his gaze toward the human. His eyes narrowed. And you? A human? Why do you stand between the child and her enemies? The human tightened his grip on the pipe but spoke calmly. Because they were alone, hungry, and no one else would help. The warrior studied him for a long moment. His voice was low but sharp. Do you expect a reward for this kindness? The human shook his head. No, I don't want anything. I just didn't want them to die in the cold. The girl's heart swelled at his words. She remembered the warnings of her people, never trust a human. Yet this one had fought for them, even when the hunter's blades were aimed at his chest. Before anyone could speak further, a harsh laugh echoed down the alley. The scarred leader of the hunters reappeared, his men close behind. Their eyes were filled with greed and rage. You think we would leave so easily? He spat. Warriors or not, that relic is worth more than your lives. It will be ours. The girl gasped and clutched the toy tighter. Her sister whimpered, hiding her face. The warriors shifted, their hands moving to their weapons. The tallest one barked, "This is not your fight. Leave before you are crushed." But the scarred leader only sneered. We're not afraid of relic keepers. We've killed your kind before. The human stepped forward, placing himself once more between the children and the danger. You'll have to go through us first. The girl grabbed his sleeve, her eyes wide. No, you'll be hurt, but he shook his head. I promised I wouldn't let them take you. The hunters surged forward and the street exploded into chaos. Warriors clashed with thieves, blades ringing against armor, fists striking flesh. The crowd scattered, some fleeing, others hiding behind broken walls. The human fought beside the warriors, swinging the pipe with precision. He moved with surprising skill, blocking a knife strike and countering with a powerful blow. A hunter collapsed at his feet. The alien girl pulled her sister into a corner, trying to shield her from the violence. Her heart pounded as she watched the human fight. Each strike, each step carried weight. He did not fight for glory, only for survival, for them. The scarred leader broke through the melee, his eyes burning. He charged straight toward the girl. She froze, clutching the toy, her legs refusing to move. Give it to me, he roared, blade raised. But before the strike could land, the human intercepted him. The pipe met the blade with a sharp clang. Sparks flew as the two struggled, faces inches apart. The leader snarled. Why do you fight for them? They're not your kind. The human's voice was steady, filled with fire. Because kindness has no kind. With a surge of strength, he twisted the pipe and forced the blade away. His fist crashed into the leader's jaw, sending him staggering back. The girl's eyes widened. She had never seen such defiance. Not even her own people had fought for her like this. The warriors pressed their advantage, striking down the remaining hunters. One by one, the thieves fell, groaning and retreating into the shadows. At last, only the scarred leader remained, bleeding and furious. He spat on the ground, glaring at the human. This isn't the end. That relic will bring more than warriors. It will bring death. Then he vanished into the alleys, his men dragging him away. The street fell silent once more, but this time it was different. The danger had passed, but the echo of his words remained like a shadow. The human lowered the pipe, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. He turned to the girl and her sister. Are you hurt? The elder girl shook her head, tears in her eyes. No, you saved us again. The tallest warrior stepped closer, his gaze fixed on the human. For the first time, his voice softened. You fight like one of us. Few humans would risk their life for alien children. The human shrugged, wiping blood from his lip. I didn't think about it. I just did what I had to. The girl looked down at the toy in her arms. Its glow was stronger now, steady and bright. She whispered, maybe it wasn't just mine to keep. Maybe it was meant to bring us all together. The warriors exchanged quiet murmurs, their eyes lingering on both the relic and the human. The confrontation was over, but the real challenge was only beginning. The relic had revealed itself, and the hunter's warning still echoed. This will bring more than warriors. It will bring death. The city was not quiet for long. Though the hunters had fled, their threat lingered in every broken wall and every whisper in the crowd. The alien girl held her sister close, her arms tight around the small body, as if afraid someone might tear her away. The toy glowed brighter now, a steady light that refused to fade. The tallest warrior stepped forward, his armor shining in the pale sunlight. His voice carried like thunder.
Children, the relic you carry is not just a toy.
It is a beacon, a call to our people. The girl's eyes widened. A beacon? She looked down at the object in her hands. Her mother had always told her it was a memory, nothing more. But the warmth it gave off now was alive, almost like a heartbeat. The little sister leaned against her. "Mama left it for us," she whispered. "She said it would keep us safe." The human studied the relic with careful eyes. He could see it was no simple toy. The glow was unnatural, and the warrior's reaction told him it carried meaning beyond childhood. "If it's a beacon," he asked slowly, "then who else will answer the call?" The warriors exchanged tense glances. Finally, the leader said, "Our kin will come, but so will enemies. Relics of old power never go unnoticed." The girl shivered. The hunters had already risked their lives for it. What greater danger might follow? One of the younger warriors bent to her level, his voice gentler. "Child, you must come with us. The relic belongs to our people. We will protect you and your sister." Her heart clenched. Safety was tempting, but her eyes drifted to the human. Without him, they would not have survived the night nor the fight. She whispered, "And what about him?" "He saved us twice." The warriors hesitated. Their gazes turned toward the human, measuring him. Some looked with respect, others with suspicion. Humans were not trusted in their history. The tallest warrior spoke again, his tone hard. "He is not of our kind. He may walk with us for now, but his place is uncertain." The human met their eyes without fear. "I didn't save them for a place. I did it because it was right." The alien girl's chest swelled with emotion. She stepped forward, clutching the relic. "If he doesn't come, we don't come either." Her voice was small but firm. The warriors frowned. The leader's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing for a long moment. At last he grunted. "Very well. For now the human stays." Relief washed over the girl, though fear still lingered. She turned to the man. "Thank you," she whispered. He shook his head. "Don't thank me yet. We don't know what's coming." As if to answer his words, the relic pulsed brighter. A soft hum filled the air, low but strong, spreading across the ruined streets. The crowd that had been hiding peeked out with awe. Some bowed their heads, others backed away in fear. The warriors formed a circle around the girl, guarding her. "The call has gone farther now," the leader said grimly. "Soon the whole sector will know the relic is active." The human glanced around the street. He saw shapes in the distance, watchers who did not belong to the crowd. Not hunters this time, but something more organized. His instincts screamed danger. "Then we shouldn't stay here," he said. "If this beacon draws enemies, they'll find us before your kin does." The warriors nodded. They began to move, forming a protective wall around the children and the human. The crowd melted away, not daring to follow. As they left the street, the alien girl walked with her sister at her side, the relic pressed tightly to her chest. Every step she took, the glow seemed to guide her as if it wanted her to move forward. Her sister whispered, "Do you think Mama knew this would happen?" The elder girl's throat tightened. "Maybe. Maybe she wanted us to find him." She glanced at the human. "Maybe she knew we couldn't do this alone." The human overheard her words but said nothing. Inside, though, something stirred. He had lived many nights in loneliness, never belonging. But now, with these two fragile lives depending on him, he felt a purpose he had not known before. The warriors led them through winding alleys and out toward the edge of the city. Every corner felt dangerous, every shadow filled with eyes. Once the human thought he saw the scarred leader watching from the rooftops, his gaze like a silent promise of revenge. By dusk, they reached the ruins of an old temple. The warriors halted. Their leader gestured toward the crumbling stone walls. "We will wait here. Our kin will find us. Until then, no one must touch the relic." The girl nodded, clutching it tightly. She sat with her sister on the cold floor, her body tired but her mind restless. The human stood guard at the entrance with two warriors. His eyes scanned the darkening horizon. He could not shake the feeling that something worse was coming. And as night fell, the relic's glow grew stronger, painting the walls with strange light. The hum deepened, echoing in the air like a song from another world. The girl closed her eyes, whispering to her sister, "It's not just a toy. It's calling them. It's calling everyone." And far beyond the city and the vast reaches of the stars, something stirred in answer. Night spread over the ruins, and the old temple stood like a broken giant against the dark sky. The alien girl sat on the cold floor with her little sister asleep in her lap. The relic glowed steadily, filling the temple with a soft golden light that seemed alive. The human stood at the entrance, pipe resting by his side. Two warriors flanked him, their eyes sharp, their armor catching the light from the relic. The air carried silence, but beneath it tension was thick. Everyone knew the relic's call had gone far. Allies might come. Enemies would come too. The alien girl brushed her sister's hair gently, her thoughts heavy. She remembered the first night of hunger, the whispers of fear, the hunters in the street. Yet here she was now, surrounded by warriors, protected by a human stranger who had risked his life for them. It felt unreal, like a story told by elders, yet it was happening. Suddenly, a horn echoed in the distance, low, powerful, ancient. The warriors straightened, their hands gripping their weapons. The human's eyes narrowed. From the darkness outside the temple, figures emerged. Not hunters, not thieves. These were more warriors, their armor marked with the same patterns as those already inside. They marched in silence, their steps firm. The leader inside the temple raised his arm in salute. Our kin have come. Relief spread through the alien girl. For the first time she felt less alone. But the glow of the relic grew brighter, almost blinding now, as if it had been waiting for this moment. One of the arriving warriors stepped forward, his presence commanding. His voice was deep, carrying authority. The relic has chosen to awaken, and it has chosen her to carry it. He pointed to the small alien girl, her breath caught. Me? He nodded. Yes, your mother's line was sworn to guard this relic. Now it rests with you. You are its keeper. The little sister stirred, rubbing her eyes sleepily. She whispered, "Keeper?" The elder girl hugged her closer, fear and pride mixing in her chest. She had wanted only to repay kindness with a simple toy, yet now she was being told it was more than that. It was destiny. The human stepped closer, his voice steady. If this relic brings danger, how will she survive it? She's just a child. The warrior's gaze shifted to him. She will survive because we will guard her. And perhaps, because of you, the human frowned. Me? The leader explained. The relic did not glow in the hands of hunters. It did not glow when left alone. It awakened only when you gave kindness, when you chose to protect instead of take. Perhaps the relic responds not only to bloodline, but to spirit. The alien girl looked up at the human, her eyes wide. It listened to you too. The human said nothing at first. He stared at the glowing object, then at the two sisters. Finally he sighed. I never asked for this, but I won't walk away now. The girl's chest filled with warmth. She clutched the relic tighter. Then we are not alone anymore. Before the moment could settle, a sudden crash shook the temple walls. Shadows spilled in through the broken doorway. The scarred leader of the hunters returned, his eyes burning with rage. Behind him, more men poured in, armed and hungry for the relic. The warriors formed a line, weapons drawn. The leader spat. I told you this would bring death. That glow belongs to us. Chaos erupted once more. Steel clashed against steel. Shouts filled the temple and sparks flew under the golden light of the relic. The human fought beside the warriors, pipes swinging with deadly force. The alien girl shielded her sister, clutching the relic to her chest. Its glow pulsed in rhythm with the battle, faster, brighter, as if feeding on courage. The scarred leader broke through the fight, charging straight toward the girl again. His blade raised high. Give it to me, child. This time she did not freeze. She raised the relic in both hands, its glow flaring like fire. The light struck the leader's eyes, blinding him. He screamed, dropping his blade, stumbling backward. The warriors pressed forward, driving the hunters out. The scarred leader tried to rise, but the human struck him down with one final blow of the pipe. Silence returned, heavy and complete. The relic dimmed slightly, its duty fulfilled. The girl breathed hard, her hands trembling. Her sister clung to her, whispering, You did it. You stopped him. The warriors bowed their heads to her. The leader said, The relic chose well. You are its keeper, and you are no longer alone. The human lowered his pipe, sweat dripping down his face. He looked at the girl and her sister. It's over. You're safe now. She shook her head softly. No, it's not over. But with you, we can face it, her words struck him deep. He had been a wanderer, a man with no home. But now, in the eyes of these children, he saw a place where he belonged. As dawn broke, the warriors prepared to leave the city. The girl walked at their center, her sister holding her hand, the relic glowing faintly against her chest. The human walked beside them, no longer just a stranger, but part of something greater. For in that night of hunger and fear, a new bond had been forged, between alien and human, between kindness and destiny. And it was only the beginning of their story.